So this term I started to pursue real estate investing. And also during this term, I finished reading this book, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and my dad introduced me to this website called Bigger Pockets. So do any of you know what Bigger Pockets is? So it's this website for real estate investors. They have forums, they have blogs, they have a podcast, live webinars, and books by most people from the website. And so about a month ago, my mom was talking to her brother, Jay Lucas, who owns Lucas Tire in Austin, if any of you been to Austin. So he actually does commercial real estate, and he actually been doing it since he was 19. And so he was talking to my mom, and my mom told him about my interest in real estate investing. And so he decided to let me borrow up to $100,000 from him, interest-free, and help start on my real estate journey. When my mom told me this, I was really excited because I've never seen any real estate investor start off their journey with one of the relatives giving them $100,000 or more. So then the next day I told my friend Andrew, who has been into real estate investing longer than me, and I asked if he wanted to partner up with me. So he did want to, and I was glad because I would be really stressed out and super worried if it were only me. So about a week later, him, Mr. Brad, who's his dad, and we all met up and we called my uncle to discuss what we should do. So Mr. Brad suggested we do flipping houses because if we were to buy a house and then rent it, it wouldn't really be a good educational experience. Plus, we wouldn't get a good return immediately, so it would start us longer to get another deal or another property. So my uncle agreed with him, and so over the following week we discussed how we were going to plan to do this. And Andrew actually called his friend Nathan Rose, who's a real estate investor that actually has a real estate license and have been flipping other people's houses for about 3-4 years, maybe more. And he actually agreed to help us, so he'll be like our mentor for our journey. And so basically our plan involved driving for dollars, collecting more information online, and calling the owners.
So as y'all may have already known, I studied real estate investing last year, and I'm doing it again this year. And so our first step for looking for a house to flip is driving for dollars. Are any of y'all familiar with that term? It just means that you drive around looking for houses to buy. So the reason we did this, instead of looking at websites that sell houses like Zillow or Realtor.com, is because you can't find good deals on those websites. Since we're looking to flip, we need a good deal, and we need to have a wide margin for error. Because, for example, if you didn't realize that you needed to replace the air conditioning for a house before you bought it, then after you could be out $10,000, and if you only gave yourself a $5,000 cushion, then you could be down $5,000. When we went driving, some of the things we looked for were tall grass, busted or boarded up windows, tarps, and for sale by owner signs. So what these all have in common is that the owner is obviously desperate, whether it be any of those things, and that is what you want. You want a desperate seller when you're looking to flip a house. So this is the area that we have so far searched for houses. Right here is Burton Lane, and that's 210 Bridge, and 210 Interstate, and that right there is Louisiana Avenue. This is West Sale Road, this is Lake Street, and this is Nelson Road and West McNeese Street. So the first 2 days we did this, we were just listing the address and then doing the research later when we got back to school. But then we realized we weren't remembering what the houses looked like, so we started taking a picture of each house that we listed. Here are some of the pictures from that. This right here is a duplex, and it has a for rent sign, so that means it's obviously vacant. So that's a desperate seller. And this right here, there's boarded up windows right there, and then that small column is broken. So, and then this house obviously needs a new roof, and it looks like there might be a small notice on the door, probably evicting the tenant, or the bank is foreclosing on this house.
So after we would get back from driving for dollars, we would go onto Calcasieu Parish's tax assessor website, which helps us figure out who owns the property and when they bought it for what price. So we would type in the address and we would look for all those parts of information. While most of the time there wouldn't be any addresses, even if we put in the correct one, they wouldn't show any information. But thankfully that didn't really happen too much. Then next we would go on to places like Zillow, Realtor, and Redfin, and we would try to look for how much bedrooms and bathrooms they have, the square footage, and the estimated price. But like the Calcasieu Parish's tax assessor website, it doesn't always give you information. Like sometimes for some places they don't give you any information, others they give you all. It just depends. And so here are most of the houses we looked for. So the red stands for don't look into, meaning that it could be we called the owner and they don't want to sell, or it could be that they're not in our criteria or they're too expensive. The yellow is for possibly look into, which could mean that it's not our number one priority yet, but if we can't find any deals, then we go to those. And then the green is of course looking into, meaning that we'd like to get into them as soon as possible. And then pink is for, we already called the owner and they are interested in selling. And then we also had a bunch of other ones in case if you were wondering.
So the next and most intimidating step is calling the owner of the house. And I saw Nathan about a week ago, and the first thing he asked me was if I've gotten a mad call yet. And I was like, what's a mad call? And he was like, it's when the owner gets mad at you for calling, asking him to sell their house. So before we called anybody, we each wrote a script, and here's what that looks like. Mine just says, hi, is this the owner of blank? My name is Andrew Moore, and I'm a real estate investor. I was driving around and saw you had a for sale sign in the front yard. And my questions were, I was wondering, why are you selling? Are there any problems with the house? Is there any way we could come get a look on the inside? And what were you hoping to get for us? And that's all on the initial call. So every month they have a real estate investors meeting at Walcollins, and Nathan invited me to come last month, so I did. And he said he is flipping a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a square footage of 1,750, and he owned the address of 63 Horseshoe Lane in Sulphur, and he said we could come and look at it. So here are some of the pictures we took. This is the living room, and the first thing he assured us was that that green stuff on the wall is not mold, it's just a previous layer of painting. And this is the laundry room right here, and it kind of curves around into the master bedroom. Now before he flipped it, this was just open space right here, so he's making it into a master bedroom, which would mean it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house now. And right there is the master bathroom. And so it actually had like a 4-inch drop from the master bedroom. So Nathan said he's gonna have to bring that up to level with the master bedroom. And he said when he knocked out the walls, there was a door behind it that led outside. So he said he's just gonna cover that up. So going into the summer, me and Lucas have agreed to meet 4 to 6 hours a week to look at houses. And our goal is to find a house that meets our criteria and bring Nathan in on the flip so that we can learn the flipping process from him. That would include getting an inspection before we buy the house, hiring contractors to do the work, and managing contractors to make sure they stay on schedule. Any questions?
You said you had criteria, what were you looking at?
So, we asked Nathan that, cause we weren't too sure ourselves, and he told us that he looks for 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses with about 1,800 square feet, so that's about what we're looking for.